Hey guys, Mr. Bowman here. Today's learning objective is in pink. We are learning to use Pythagoras Theory. We learned about that in the last video to calculate the short side of a given right angle triangle. So the new thing in this video is the idea of calculating the short side. Just to recap, if we have a given right angle triangle, the two sides that join together to make the right angle, that there is A and B are always the short sides of a right angle triangle. They're the ones we're trying to calculate today. In the last video, the long side or the hypotenuse opposite to the right angle, however you want to say it, that's the C value. We learned how to calculate that in the previous video. So this video here, we're going to go through a few quick questions. How can we find the short side of our how can we find the short side using Pythagoras' theory? So let's get into the question. So first one here, I'm assuming I'm trying to calculate this unknown side here, x, that has nothing on it at the moment. The two sides that join together to make the right angle, they are the A and the B values, and the side opposite the right angle, that's the long side, that's the hypotenuse. So that's my first step done. That's labeling the sides of the triangle. So that's step one. My second step is normally to write down the formula and substitute. In this case here, A is going to be 3, so that's 3 squared. B here is equal to x, so the x goes in where the B is, and the C is 5. That's going to become 5 squared. We then calculate all the squares. That's going to become 9 plus x squared is equal to 25. Okay, at this step here, this is when we start using our solving techniques, and I've got on the right-hand side of our page the question from the previous video, and I just wanted to note the difference here. So when you're trying to calculate the unknown, the C was by itself on the right-hand side of the equation, and this time around, the unknown variable is muddled up on the left-hand side. So the algebra we use from this point here is going to be a little bit different to go ahead and find out our missing value. So in this case here, we need to move the 9 to the other side. We didn't have to do that for the other question. So to do that, we go minus 9 minus 9. So that means x squared is going to be equal to 16. We then square root both sides, so x is going to be equal to the square root of 16. X is therefore equal to 4. And don't forget units, 4 centimeters, that there would be your final answer. So well done if that makes sense. Hopefully you can see what's a little bit different, really similar, except the algebra is very subtly different. But we should all have the skills to go ahead and finish off that type of question. So let's change pen colors. Let's do a second question. If you've already got it, stop watching, do some work. But let's look at the next one here. So first step, label the sides. Two sides that join together to make the right angle. They are the short sides, they're A and B. So we've already got A labeled here. So we'll leave that as A. And 7, that there is going to be B. The long side, it is opposite the right angle. That there is going to be the C side of the triangle. So that's the first step done. Second step, we write down the equation. So a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. We then substitute. So a is going to stay as a squared. B is going to become 7 squared. And c is going to become 15 squared. We then go ahead and we kind of simplify. Let's get rid of all those squares so they're numbers. A squared is going to be plusing 49, because that's 7 squared, and 15 squared, 225. This step here, we then get into solving, and don't forget, a little bit different, we move the numbers to the other side with subtraction. That is going to be minus 49, minus 49. So a squared will be equal to 176. We then square root that, which means a is going to be equal to 13.27. That there is meters, and this here I chose to round to 2 decimal points. Okay guys, so we had a very quick video. We've gone through heaps of the stuff. Key thing to note, Process really similar to the previous question. The only difference is the algebra used, I've squared it there, is slightly different to that. Hopefully you saw Snorlax. Thanks for helping out, Snorlax. Now let's get into heaps and heaps of practice.